every minor comment, every tiny inconvenience. If you let all of it get under your skin, you hand over your power without realizing it. The reality is that the people who seem unshakable don't have a life free of problems. They've just learned how to control their reactions. Picture yourself moving through life calm, centered, unbothered. No endless spirals of overthinking, no sudden emotional explosions, just total command over yourself. This is exactly what I'm going to show you how to do, to train your mind so deeply that nothing external can rattle you, so you stop feeling like life controls you and instead start steering it on your own terms. Because once you gain this ability, no situation, no person, no setback will have authority over you again. The world is chaotic, overflowing with noise, opinions, criticism, delays, unexpected challenges. It constantly throws distractions and negativity your way. But real power isn't about avoiding chaos. It's about learning to stay unmoved in the middle of it. Think of yourself walking through a storm without losing your balance, without flinching. That's what it means to act as if nothing can bother you. The skill lies in separating your inner emotional state from the circumstances happening outside you. As soon as you let outside events decide how you feel, you've made yourself a puppet. When you train yourself to remain steady regardless of what happens, you become the one pulling the strings of your own life. People respect the person who remains calm when others panic, who keeps composure when everything is falling apart. Without even trying, you radiate authority and strength. You carry yourself with presence and silent confidence that needs no explanation. Look back at the most impactful individuals throughout history. They weren't the ones who lashed out at every insult or snapped at every challenge. They carried themselves as though they knew a truth nobody else could see. Their strength was not in shouting louder than others, but in being unshakable in the face of provocation. This is the essence of mental mastery, realizing that every thought you hold creates your reality. If you allow yourself to get thrown off balance every time something goes wrong, you are giving your power away for free. But if you develop the discipline to remain unshaken, it feels as though life itself starts moving in your favor. The greatest achievers in history all understood this. When you control the mind, you control everything. Imagine someone publicly insults you. Most people would get defensive, shout back, or try to prove themselves right. But imagine simply smiling and walking away without letting it touch you. In that moment, you deny the other person the reaction they were seeking. They lose their sense of control while you walk away stronger than before. This is what true strength looks like, the ability to be untouchable without saying a word. The same principle applies to failure. When most people face rejection or experience a loss, they let anger, sadness, or frustration consume them. They waste time replaying the failure over and over, losing days or even years of progress. But the person who has mastered detachment doesn't take failure personally. They look at it as feedback, as data, as nothing more than a step toward improvement. They adjust, they adapt, and they keep moving forward without letting it damage their self-worth. Developing this ability starts with constant mental training. You practice the pause, that small moment of stillness before reacting. Each time something happens, ask yourself whether it truly matters in the long run. Does this situation actually affect your life's mission, your bigger purpose? If the answer is no, why waste your energy? The more you deliberately choose not to react, the stronger your mental shield becomes. Visualization is another powerful tool. Each day, picture yourself as someone who walks through challenges completely calm. See yourself not flinching when criticized, not breaking under stress, not letting petty drama affect your state of mind. When you rehearse this image of yourself, your brain begins to adopt it as truth. The mind becomes what it repeatedly envisions. People around you will start to wonder why you are so calm, why nothing seems to shake you. And that mystery is what makes you magnetic. Real power has nothing to do with being the loudest person in the room or forcing others to respect you. True strength is quiet. It doesn't need to prove itself. It's the kind of presence that people can feel without you saying a word. Once you learn to build that presence, life starts to work differently for you. Think about the most composed people you've ever met. They don't snap at others. They don't lose their temper. They don't let themselves get dragged into pointless fights. Instead, they pause, they analyze, and they respond carefully. They aren't emotionless. They've just mastered their emotions so that feelings serve them rather than control them. Emotional control does not mean pretending you don't feel anything. It means noticing your feelings and deciding consciously what to do with them. Imagine being in an argument where someone is trying to provoke you into anger. If you lose your temper, you are letting them take control of your mood. But if you stay calm and unaffected, their words lose all power. Detachment is simply refusing to let someone else dictate the state of your inner world. Once you adopt this practice, stress naturally decreases. You see problems more clearly and find solutions faster. Life's challenges stop feeling like battles and start feeling like puzzles to solve. The principle is simple. What you dwell on grows. If you keep focusing on negativity, your life will feel negative. But if you choose to control your thoughts, you become the creator of your reality. Consider someone who lost everything, business gone, finances ruined, life seemingly in pieces. The average person might collapse in despair, paralyzed by fear. But a person with mental mastery treats this as a reset, not a death sentence. They recognize that their thoughts and mindset are the most valuable asset they have, and no amount of loss can take that away. With this attitude, they rebuild stronger and faster than before. Most people fail to accomplish big goals, not because they lack ability, but because they let emotions take over when things get hard. Fear, doubt, and frustration derail their progress. But those who train themselves to stay centered know that feelings are temporary waves that eventually pass. They don't let a bad day ruin their vision. They keep moving, even when it's uncomfortable, and that's why they succeed. Detachment isn't about becoming cold or indifferent. It's about deciding that nothing outside of you has the right to control you. You still experience joy, sadness, and excitement, but you choose when and how to express them. Instead of being a prisoner to emotional highs and lows, you are the one holding the steering wheel. You can practice this skill in real time. The next time someone criticizes you, instead of firing back instantly, pause and simply observe what you're feeling. Ask yourself whether this actually affects your life in any meaningful way. Most of the time, it doesn't. By choosing silence, you take away their ability to disturb your peace. Having a strong sense of purpose makes detachment even easier. When your focus is locked on a bigger vision, you stop wasting energy on petty drama. Your time becomes too valuable to spend on people or events that don't serve your mission. The more control you gain over your inner state, the harder it becomes for anything outside to shake you. While everyone else is panicking, you stay calm. While others are reacting impulsively, you respond thoughtfully. This alone gives you an advantage most people will never have. True strength isn't about shouting, fighting, or proving yourself. It's about being so centered that nothing can pull you out of balance. People feel this energy and respect it without you having to demand their respect. We've been taught to care too much about everything, opinions, approval, judgment. But this is a trap. You only gain freedom when you realize that most things don't deserve your energy. Ask yourself, will this even matter in 5 years? If the answer is no, let it go. Most of what stresses us out today will soon be forgotten, yet we allow it to control our mood and our decisions. Indifference does not mean you stop caring about life. It means you choose wisely what to care about. Your energy is limited, so spend it on what truly matters, not on meaningless drama. When you stop reacting to every small inconvenience, you shift from living on autopilot to living with intention. Think of the people you admire most. They're not the ones desperately chasing validation. They're the ones who know who they are and don't compromise that for anyone. Because they are unshakable, no one can easily manipulate them. The next time you are criticized, remember that reacting instantly only proves that the words affected you. By staying calm, you hold the upper hand. This quiet strength earns more respect than any defensive outburst ever could. Those who accomplish great things keep their focus on the bigger picture. They refuse to waste energy on gossip, petty arguments, or irrelevant drama. Every minute they spend worrying about something meaningless is a minute stolen from building their vision. You can develop this power by paying attention to how you react. Each time something triggers you, pause and choose a response that aligns with who you want to be. Over time, this becomes automatic, and once it does, nothing can shake you. When irritation, stress, or nervousness begins to rise over a small inconvenience, pause before reacting. Take a breath and ask yourself whether this situation truly deserves your energy. In most cases, the answer will be no. Learn to release what brings you no benefit. Training your mind to let go is one of the most liberating skills you can develop. Another important practice is deciding what truly matters to you and placing those things at the top of your priority list. Identify what brings you growth, meaning, and peace of mind, and give those things your full attention. When you build a strong sense of self-worth, outside criticism and judgment lose their power over you. You become unshaken not because you are careless, but because you reserve your care for the right things. Real strength is not found in begging for validation, but in refusing to be controlled by disapproval. True freedom lies in walking away from situations and people who drain your spirit, refusing to get pulled into unnecessary conflict, and staying centered in a world designed to distract you. It's not about becoming indifferent to life. It's about directing your attention with intention. When you master this way of living, you don't merely endure the chaos of the world, you rise above it. In a culture obsessed with fitting in and being accepted, the person who chooses to stand firmly rooted in their own sense of worth will always rise higher. Stop living for other people's approval. The desire to be liked is a trap because it ties your sense of joy to someone else's reaction. Your value should never be measured by the opinions of others. The very moment you allow someone else to define your worth, you give away your power and lose ownership of your own life. Real confidence isn't handed to you by others. It is built by relying on yourself, by realizing that you don't need external permission to be authentic. Think about the most charismatic and influential people you know. They never beg for acceptance, they never shrink themselves to fit in, and they never compromise their identity to win the approval of others. They are fully themselves, imperfections and all, and that authenticity is what makes them magnetic. Their power comes from their refusal to bend to the expectations of the crowd. While many people are busy chasing applause, they continue on their own road without apology, guided by their purpose. The craving for approval is rooted in fear of rejection, fear of criticism, fear of standing alone. But here is the truth. Every time you let that fear dictate your decisions, you surrender your freedom. You become a puppet dancing to the strings of someone else's standards. Real freedom begins when you stop trying to be liked by everyone. Chasing universal approval is a losing game because no matter what you do, some will support you, some will oppose you, and some will remain indifferent. So why spend your energy trying to win over every single person? Consider the innovators, the leaders, the creators who reshaped the world. They did not succeed by seeking acceptance. They were moved by vision, by conviction, by a sense of calling. They faced opposition, but they were unshaken. Their confidence rested on something much deeper than public opinion. It was anchored in their own belief in themselves. That is why they became unstoppable. If you want to escape the prison of approval seeking, start by identifying whose opinion truly matters. Most of the loudest critics are the people who have never walked in your shoes, who don't understand the path you are on. Their judgments only hold weight if you allow them to. Learn to be the one who affirms your own efforts. Celebrate your growth, no matter how small. Acknowledge your progress so that you no longer need others to clap for you. When you validate yourself, outside validation becomes a bonus rather than a necessity. Choosing not to depend on external approval doesn't make you arrogant. It makes you free. It means you respect your own decisions and trust your own process. Your worth is not up for negotiation. The moment you stop filtering your words, choices, and dreams through the expectations of others, you begin to live with honesty and boldness. Not everyone will understand you, and not everyone will support you. That is part of the process. The ones who truly matter will respect you more, when they see that you do not need their permission to be who you are. Choose yourself. Stand by your beliefs, hold true to your values, and follow your vision. Release the need for others to validate your existence. This is how you become untouchable, not because everyone finally agrees with you, but because you no longer require their agreement in order to feel at peace. Criticism is part of life, and how you handle it determines your inner strength. Many people collapse under the weight of negative comments, letting other people's words shape their identity and dictate their actions. But criticism is just sound. It carries only the meaning you assign to it. If you respond impulsively, you hand over your power. If you analyze it calmly, you remain in charge. The strongest individuals are not those who never get criticized, but those who refuse to be shaken by it. They analyze feedback logically, absorb what is helpful, and dismiss the rest without drama. They do not waste emotional energy on every comment that comes their way. This is the key. Filter criticism with reason, not with raw emotion. Keep what is useful, ignore what is not, and never allow someone else's words to disturb your peace of mind. Criticism generally falls into two categories, helpful and harmful. Helpful criticism comes from people who have knowledge, experience, and a sincere desire to see you improve. This is the kind of feedback worth paying attention to. Harmful criticism, on the other hand, usually comes from jealousy, misunderstanding, or bitterness. These words are meaningless unless you take them personally. Picture a sculptor shaping a beautiful statue. Onlookers stop to watch. Some admire his work, some offer guidance that may actually help him, and others laugh or criticize. Does the sculptor throw away his tools because of those who mock him? No. He continues to carve, focused on the final vision. This is how you must treat criticism. When someone speaks against you, ask yourself whether they have the authority or experience to judge you. If yes, consider their perspective. If not, keep moving. Most criticism comes from those who have never attempted what you are doing. Their words reflect their own limits, not yours. Criticism is ultimately a test of your mental strength. Those who are mentally weak react defensively or retreat into self-doubt. Those who are mentally strong stay calm, process what is said, and continue forward. When you can respond to criticism with grace and stillness, you demonstrate that your self-confidence is solid. The greatest visionaries in history faced relentless attacks on their ideas. They were doubted, mocked, even hated, yet they kept moving forward, and that refusal to be stopped is what made them exceptional. Criticism, in many cases, is simply the cost you pay for progress. To develop this mindset, practice pausing before reacting to criticism. Evaluate whether there is any truth in it. If it helps you grow, take it as a lesson. If it does not, release it and move forward. When you make this a habit, you are no longer chained to other people's opinions. Another important element is cultivating deep self-belief. When you have genuine trust in your path, the words of others lose their power over you. Confidence should always come from within, not from whether others approve of you. Once you fully understand this, shallow criticism can no longer touch you. The world will always have opinions. Some will praise, others will reject. But the only voice that must carry the most weight is your own. True power lies in being able to hear criticism, analyze it clearly, and continue without losing your focus. The next time someone offers criticism, treat it as nothing more than background noise. Learn from it if necessary, but never let it define who you are. The strongest individuals are not afraid of judgment. They either use it to grow or they discard it entirely. Pressure reveals who people really are. Some collapse, others freeze, but those who are prepared remain calm and collected. Why? Because they ready their minds before the challenge appears. They know that difficulty is not rare, it is inevitable. When you expect difficulties, you stop being caught off guard by them. The secret lies in releasing your obsession with controlling every outcome. Accept that plans will go wrong, people will fail you, and unexpected problems will arise. Instead of reacting with panic, respond with strategy and focus. Most people crumble under pressure because they fight reality. They expect life to go smoothly and become paralyzed when it doesn't. Those who have trained their minds to accept chaos adjust quickly. They work with the storm instead of against it. Imagine a battle-tested warrior stepping onto the field. He does not expect an easy fight. He anticipates obstacles, ambushes, and uncertainty. His composure comes from having already accepted that challenge is part of the path. He does not waste energy wishing things were easier. He uses his energy to execute with precision. This is the mindset you must adopt. The world will send tests your way, stress, setbacks, failures, but if you have trained your mind to remain centered under pressure, nothing can shake you. While others lose their calm, you will move with clarity and decisiveness. True strength is not about controlling external events, but controlling yourself. When you no longer need the world to bend to your will, you become unshakable. You become unstoppable the moment you recognize that pressure is not something to be feared, but something to be embraced. Instead of running from it, you face it head on and see it for what it really is, a training ground for composure. Think about the most composed